Hi, this is Mr. Evans. This video is intended to help you revise a little bit about some content in Unit 2 regarding scientific versus intuitive decision making, and just have a look at using the case study to help build your answer. So this is the descriptor of a level 5 answer. 20 out of 20 is what we're aiming for in these questions that are out of 20, obviously. What does it say about using the case study? Well, you've got to apply an answer effectively to the context. Okay, so the most important thing I would say before you read a case study is to know what the question is about. And that's going to help you read the case study to pick out the important information in it. So in any question where there's a case study, before you read the case study, just have a look at the question and see what the question is, and then you'll be aware of what you're looking for when you read the case study. So this question is, to what extent should the decision to expand Organic Bites Limited be based on scientific data rather than intuition? So I'm looking for information about the benefits of using scientific data for this business and the benefits of using intuitive decision making, which I should have revised and know, the theory about that from Unit 2. So here's the case study. It gives us a little bit of information about the business, what they do, high quality organic food, and the business has developed a loyal group of customers. It's run by Sandra and James. Sandra is the creative force behind the brand. She has an intuitive understanding of her customers and regularly comes up with new products and ideas that are popular with customers. Okay, AQA are quite good at giving you little hints about stuff that you can use when you're building your answer. So to know that Sandra's got an intuitive understanding of her customers will help me give the advantages of why intuitive decision making might be good for this business. James is an accountant by training and takes care of the organisation's finances and administration. They're considering whether or not to expand Organic Bites, so the question is about the expansion. So I know there's going to be some useful information in this paragraph. Sandra has found a new location in Dubai that she believes the customers will love. Okay, she believes that, that's her gut instinct. Meanwhile, James is interested in moving to a new city. Okay, this is interesting. James is interested in moving to a new city. Is that for personal reasons? And he's found a vacant premises in Abu Dhabi, which is about 150 kilometres away from Dubai. Neither of them had visited Abu Dhabi before, so James spent an afternoon there, collecting market research there. So an afternoon collecting market research. So this is useful for scientific decision making. He used his financial record and market research about each location to estimate that the Abu Dhabi location would break even sooner than the Dubai one. So this is about scientific decision making and basing decisions on evidence that's been collected. Okay, I can see here that we've got a decision tree and it's not been finished yet. This is something that AQA do like to do. They like to give you some calculations that you can do to back up your answer. So there's a whole video on calculating decision trees, but you need to know the cost of the location. The one in Abu Dhabi is significantly cheaper, but Sandra pointed out that they know the Dubai market better, and it would be easier to run the two businesses if they were located near each other. Okay, so this is about intuitive decision making, isn't it? Sandra believing it's going to be easier to run the two businesses if they're geographically close. James has almost finished his decision tree, created using his market research and financial records. So you can see in the case study we've been given a bunch of information about intuitive decision making, which is mostly Sandra, and James seems more interested in scientific decision making. So let's see how we can put that together in an essay. So I'm going to be focusing particularly in this on using the case study to build my answer, but any a good essay is going to be planned before it starts. And what do I think about this? Well, my gut instinct to the question, my intuition, is that it should be a combination of both. Okay, and that's where my essay is going to be working towards. So my opening paragraph is that scientific decision making involves making decisions that are based on quantitative, measurable data. Intuitive decision making relies on entrepreneurs using their gut instinct to make a choice. Most business decisions will be based on a combination of scientific data and intuition. So this is signposting the examiner that I know where I'm going with my essay, and the essay should follow on from this. This is almost my conclusion here. Now, let's have a look at how I've used the data from the case study to form a balanced argument, which is what I need to do. It applied effectively to the context and considers a balanced range of issues. So how have I used the case study to do that? Let's have a look at this paragraph. One reason that organic bites should make the decision at least partially based on scientific decision making is that James has collected financial and marketing data about each location. His decision tree indicates that Abu Dhabi would deliver a greater net gain than Dubai of £10,000 rather than £4,000. That's calculated using the decision tree. This is a favourite trick of AQA. If you can do a calculation that's not in the case study and put that in, that shows really good use of the case study and application. And I've also put it will break even sooner than the Dubai location. This means that the financial and marketing data that is being collected seems to support James's preference of opening the new branch in Abu Dhabi. So all of these bits in yellow are bits of information from the case study that I've pulled together to form my argument. I've got a however in here, so I'm showing some balance now. However, the data has been collected by James himself and could therefore be very biased, as it seems he has personal reasons to support Abu Dhabi, i.e. he wanted to move to a new city. It is also likely to be based on a very small sample size, as he spent only one afternoon collecting market research. A scientific approach to decision making is reliant on having sound data, and in this case the source of information used to make the financial projections is questionable. Okay, so I've got some balance in here about scientific decision making, and all of my points I've pulled out a range of them from the case study and put them together to form a balanced argument. On the other hand, Sandra is an experienced businesswoman and has made good decisions in the past based on her gut instinct. Well, we know that from the case study. She seems to know her customers and their preferences well, and therefore may be able to make a decision based on emotion that proves to be successful. Sandra has also considered some non-quantitative data, such as the proximity of the Dubai location, making the business easier to manage. Okay, so what are the benefits of using intuitive decision making? Sandra's got a track record of it, and she has used some non-quantitative data. However, so trying to get some balance in now, Sandra is likely to feel a little biased towards Dubai, as she may be intimidated. Use a little twice there, that's not good English. She may be intimidated by the idea of starting a new restaurant in an area she's unfamiliar with. In this case, examining the research that James has collected may help her realise there are potential financial gains to locating in Abu Dhabi that she's not considered. Sandra seems to me to be very intuitive decision making, and therefore having a look at scientific data might help her to realise that there are benefits she's not considered. Okay, so now I've got my conclusion. A good way of writing a conclusion to get into a level 5 band, making judgment, provide solution, which based effectively on analysis, show balance and have a clear focus on the question. Well, a good structure to a conclusion would be to answer the question, support my answer, identify a problem with my answer, and if I can, find a solution to that. So, overall, I believe that Sandra and James need to come to a decision made on both the financial data and intuition. So, it should be clean, based on, I should make that properly scientific. So my conclusion is, Sandra and James need to come to a decision made on both the scientific data and intuition. I'm really clearly answering the question and saying it should be based on both. The financial data seems to show that Abu Dhabi would be a good location, but Sandra has understandable concerns about the complexity of running a business over two distant locations. So I've supported my answer with data from the case study. Okay, I should highlight that yellow because that's all from the case study. So I've got a clear answer and I've supported it using the case study and points that I've already analysed. Okay, but can I get some balance into my conclusion so that I'm showing that balance, which is the biggest problem is the limited data James seems to be basing his projections on. Now, how could we solve that? Perhaps with a wider sample size, Sandra's concerns would be alleviated and a sensible decision could be made. Okay, so hopefully that helps you revise intuitive versus scientific decision making, but B, also gives you some support in how to read a case study and how to construct an argument that's focused on the question using the information in the case study.